Grateful, gratified. If I am grateful, you do something kind for me, and I am grateful. I thank you, and I feel those thanks. Opposite, of course, ungrateful. Noun also, ingrate. He is an ingrate. That's an important one, which probably, I bet we don't have. And that's okay. It's a ingratiate, interesting. I'll put ingrate here, if it's okay with Dr. Shin. An ingrate is a person who does not show gratitude, is not grateful as he should be. Gratified, past participle of to gratify. Gratified is pleased. All of these words, again, 90% of these words Latin. Latinate. Gregarious means liking to stay in a herd, H-E-R-D. Some animals are gregarious, some animals are solitary. Some people are gregarious, always found with other people, wanting to be with other people. Some people are more solitary, preferring solitude. To grieve is, strictly speaking, if someone I love dies, I grieve. I mourn for that person. I grieve for him. I grieve, I think VT also, grieve his death. But it's also used figuratively, almost humorously. It grieves me to say that Dongyang this year is a very bad team. Well, this is not grieve, so it's a humorous word also. Grimace, excellent word. A grimace is a facial expression, an expression on my face of pain or, oh, grimace in pain, grimace in displeasure. Guileless, excellent word. Innocent, not guilty of any trickery. Simple, innocent person, a guileless person, like a child. Gullible, believing too readily, too easily, trusting too much, similar to naive. If we have here, naive, gullible, the same. What happened? Haggard. Haggard is like gaunt, 20 words earlier. A person who is haggard is just worn out, exhausted from stress and from physical exertion. To have, excellent word, it's the verb form of half. To have, he halved his apple and gave me one half. Cut it in half. To hamper is to hinder, to impede, to instruct, to obstruct, excuse me. Repeating, to hamper is to obstruct, to impede, to hinder. Hampered, past participle. He was hampered by his injury. A harbinger of days of plenty or of glory. A harbinger is a sign of good things to come, like an omen, but a very positive omen. Haughty, excellent word, meaning arrogant. But it's arrogant in appearance, a haughty demeanor, a haughty way of carrying himself, arrogant. Heathen is a person who does not believe, probably, frankly I'm not sure, but I would assume that heathen is close to pagan, and so Americans often misuse this word, I think. There's pagan, good. A pagan, after all, is a person who worships the forces of nature. The Japanese, strictly speaking, are pagans. That is, Shintoism is a pagan religion because natural divinities, Mount Iwo and streams and rivers and trees and hills, all these things are full of the divine. That's pagan. Heathen, I think, has the same meaning. I ought to check. Hedonist, excellent word. A hedonist is a person who believes in the pursuit of pleasure. That is, the only meaning of life is finding pleasure. Dangerous kind of person, probably. The word is used in ethics, meaning simply producing pleasure. So some ethical thinking. Utilitarianism is based. Okay, we were talking about utilitarianism, an ethical theory of 19th century England. There, hedonism is simply anything designed to produce pleasure rather than pain. In any case, a hedonist is a person who pursues pleasure. Air, notice it's not an aspirated H. An aspirated H is huh, like hedonist. Air is not aspirated, like hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We don't say hour, we say hour, right? An heir is a person, when I die, my children will be my heirs, that is, they will inherit my worldly goods. A henchman is a rough person who accompanies somebody, mafia types, perhaps, who protects the boss. Heredity, of course, is, well, it's a, we're close to genetics here. Heredity is, how do you define it? What we inherit. But especially, I have blue eyes because my mother had blue eyes. Is that as a result of heredity, I inherit the genes that produce my blue eyes or something like that. Okay. Heretic, excellent. Well, this is Dr. Shin's territory. A heretic is a person who goes against the accepted teachings of a church. Strictly speaking, it's religion, though a person could, I suppose, be a heretic among the Democrats or the Republicans or the communists, nearly a religion anyway. A heretic is a person who goes against, who opposes the teaching, the accepted teachings of a church. Heritage. The word is used, I'm proud of my Indian heritage, or my black heritage, or my Korean heritage, or whatever. That is, the ancestors and their accomplishments which went before me. Hermetic is an adjective of hermit. We have hermitage next too. That's interesting. A hermit is a person who chooses to live alone, who leads a solitary rather than gregarious life. Now, hermetic often is used to be, if something is hermetically sealed in science, it's sealed so tightly that no air can enter it. It's hermetically sealed. But again, it's from hermit. Hermitage is a place where a hermit lives, a cave perhaps. But the Hermitage is the name of the world-famous museum in Leningrad, St. Petersburg, one of the 5 best museums in the world. Hermitage, from the French word. Heterodox. We have orthodox, I'm sure. Dr. Shin has put it there, I'm sure. No, don't see it. Let's put it there. I just mentioned it in connection with heretic. A heretic goes against the orthodox teachings of a group or a church. But we are talking about heterodox. A person who is a heretic holds heterodox views. Hetero, other. Dox, from a Greek word meaning view, teaching even. Orthodox, correct views according to some church. Heterodox, differing from the accepted views. Heterogeneous, we have the same root, the same prefix here, hetero, other. Heterogeneous and homogeneous, often mispronounced homogeneous, no, homogeneous. Heterogeneous, E-O-U-S. Heterogeneous is mixed. American culture is heterogeneous, made up of many different strands. Korean culture has been, until the 20th century, at least, a homogeneous culture, both racially, Koreans marry Koreans, and culturally, aside from Chinese influence. To hibernate is literally to spend the winter someplace, from the Latin word meaning winter. Bears hibernate. Hindrance is the noun form of to hinder. A hindrance is an obstacle, something that blocks me from achieving something. Hither, going there, in that direction. Good word. Hither and thither. That way and back. Holster, unworthy here. Doesn't belong on this page. A holster, after all, is just the fabric, usually, or leather that holds my gun. Homily. A homily is a sermon about a moral lesson. Never used. Homogeneous, we have done, all of one kind. Horizon is the line that appears on the edge of, as far as we can see, especially at the sea. When we're at the beach or at the shore, we look in the distance, and as far as we can see is the horizon. Horizontal, this way. Vertical, this way. Adjectives. Hostage is a person who is held captive by someone to get something. The rebels captured the little child and held the child hostage. They demanded that the government release their prisoners. Hostile, not friendly. Hostility, not friendly. When he entered the room, he felt the hostility of the people in the room. That is, they didn't want him there. They didn't like him. A hurricane is a very violent storm. A very violent storm with very high winds and very destructive. Always on the coast, especially the Gulf of Mexico coast and the East Coast of the United States. Hypertension is tension too high, overexcitement, let's say. Hypocrisy, excellent word, difficult too. Normally it's hypocrisy by the U.S. government to claim that we are the friends of freedom, and at the same time to support, I don't know, someone will say it's hypocrisy on our part to be so friendly toward China with its communist government and all that. That's a conservative view, of course. In any case, generally it means saying one thing and by actions contradicting what one is saying. Hypodermic has to do with a needle usually, which will go under the skin. Derm, skin. Hypothesis is a theory, and we will test the hypothesis. That is, it's my hypothesis that that this pen will fall, that this light cloth will fall faster than this heavy book. Let's test the hypothesis. Theory. Hypothetical, adjective form. It's all hypothetical to say that I don't know, something will happen. To predict any prediction of the future is hypothetical. Iconoclastic, excellent word. Breaking of idols. His view of the great men of history is iconoclastic. That is, he will find the dirty, nasty, distasteful things that everybody did to shatter the icon, the image. Idolize, verb, to adore someone, usually as an idol. I idolize Shakespeare.